Good evening, everyone. Today's Tuesday, August 15th, 2023. We're here for a town board meeting and also a CDA meeting. And as always, we're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. And Frank, can you please take the lead?
Absolutely.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Frank. And do we have someone from the faith community with
We
us?
do. I didn't see her right away, but she is here.
Who is it?
For the invocation tonight is Reverend Janet Wright from the Interfaith Ministry.
Okay.
Thank you for being here.
Yes. Good evening.
Good evening, board members, superintendent, and community of Riverhead, and new people that are going to be celebrated. So I ask you to join me in prayer as we begin. God of many names, we gather here this evening to hear the business of the town of Riverhead. We ask that your presence be felt by all. We ask you to place us in an atmosphere of calm and peace as we listen to discussions with an open mind, open ears, and open hearts. We pray for our local government, our school systems, and our businesses. We pray for our families and our community of Riverhead, that the ties that bind us be not burdensome, but freely chosen bonds of interdependence upon one another. Guide our town board in their decisions that they will benefit the entire community. And may our discussions be done in a civil manner, knowing that kindness and compassion is stronger than hateful speech. Tonight, we will celebrate the installation of our new police officers who have been trained to serve and protect all citizens of the town of Riverhead. May your spirit be upon them as they undertake their responsibilities. And may the people of Riverhead, in turn, support them. We ask all these things knowing that you hear our prayers. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much.
Great.
Thank you, Reverend.
Thank you, Frank, and thank you, Reverend Wright. And before we move forward with our regular meeting today, I am very, very pleased to deviate slightly from our normal sequence and call resolution number 2023-633, appointment of probationary police officers Brett Dusinski, Keenan Fitzgerald, William Krause, and Matthew Sullivan to the New York City, to the Riverhead Police Department. I came from New York City, so PV days, so I'm retired. And so coming to the Riverhead Police Department, and since we have these resolutions and we're pulling them out of sequence, we're going to ask for any public comment before the resolutions are read and these officers, probationary officers are sorted. Does anyone want to come forward in this regard? Chip, do we have anyone online? No comments requested online, so we're going to actually call up the officers to please come forward. And we need the resolution read. And who's going to read it? You got it?
Diane, you want to call it?
Resolution 633.
Appointment of probationary police officers to the police department. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes, and welcome.
Rothwell.
Yes, welcome aboard, gentlemen.
Bayrod.
Yes, indeed.
Hubbard.
Yes, be safe.
Aguirre.
Absolutely, yes.
Resolution adopted.
Chief, can I ask, do we have the highest numbers now? Police officers.
Did I break my?
Is that our highest number in history?
Recovering.
Thank you,
I'm
gentlemen.
really recovering
Bringing us
from
up
this
above.
broken leg. That is gonna make me break my arm. Okay, guys, raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear to uphold the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of New York, and to faithfully discharge the duties of a Riverhead police officer to the best of your abilities, so help you God? across here and take some pictures with the board?
That'd be great.
That'd be great.
For my staff.
And I'll try to get it in the middle.
Congratulations.
And who's the person from New York City? Oh, hi.
As much as you can.
Usually when you go sideways, guys, if you move sideways, you get a lot more space. Okay, so if you guys want to take individual photos with your families, you want to take in, we'll walk away, take individual photos. Oh, you want to do it outside? Okay. So lots of luck, guys. See you around.
Brett has dibs on canine, by the way.
So if the family,
He was the
you,
first, second.
stay if you want to watch the board meeting, or you decide. Love you, bye-bye.
Wait, where are you going?
Thank you. Congratulations. I remember that day when I was 1983. Thank you. I never saw a crowd leave that fast. Did you ever see a crowd leave that fast? Wow. Okay.
We're doing the CDA first.
Yeah, I think so. Well, I just want to add that today is a very special day for the gentleman that just left, and we're going to wish them much happiness and their family, and hopefully they'll remain safe. And I have a few brief announcements. First, as a result of multiple requests and in the interest of enhancing transparency regarding the town board work session agendas, they will now be published on the town website by close of business day on Mondays prior to the Thursday work session, if a work session is held. In the event of a holiday, it will be provided on Tuesday. As most of you know, work session agendas have historically been posted on Wednesday afternoons, the day prior to the work session. This procedural change will impact all the departments and department heads who might otherwise make work session requests until Wednesday. Everyone's been notified, the press has been notified of the change, and I think this is a better way of holding a work session, and we're actually following what Brookhaven does. They put up their work agendas, not the night before, well before the meetings. And next, on behalf of the entire town board, I would like to take a moment to once again offer our sincere congratulations to Riverhead's own firefighter, Justin Burry, who some of you may know, may not know, but he is with the Riverhead Fire Department. And last week he was in Niagara Falls, New York, where he received the prestigious 2023 Firefighter of the Year award by the Firefighters Association of New York. So we wish him luck, and we wish that he remains safe. As a town employee, Justin represents the very best of volunteer first responders and also town employees. And again, we congratulate him. Next, on behalf of the town board, we wish to extend our sympathies to the Camardi family and to the entire racing community for their loss. They are currently mourning the loss of the former Riverhead Raceway owner, Jim Camardi, and we wish his family, we express our condolences, and we hope that they're able to work through their grieving, and we extend our knowledge of their loss. lastly, you can put the thing up.
Oh, you want to put that up?
Lastly, what we have in front of me, I am proud to have on display for all those to see the coveted Supervisors Cup Trophy. In a fun and spirited race each year, the supervisors, and they're all the designees from Riverhead and Southampton, they race in cardboard, they race each other in a cardboard boat race. And so right now, Riverhead has the bragging rights and the possession of the big trophy. And congratulations to all those who help us make it happen, including our captain, Devin Higgins, the deputy supervisor. And what's on top of it was the first trophy that was ever provided, and that was in 2010. And as you can see, inflation caused the big cup. And so that's the difference in trophies. And we're going to bring that to our new town hall. It's something that we have, and hopefully we're going to keep it for many years. Okay.
We applaud Devin and her
Yes.
rowing.
Devin Bonzera.
And I just want to add that Supervisor Schneiderman, he was a really good sport. We held hands as we did the victory walk together, and he said to me, every time I win and I do this victory walk, I get booed in Riverhead. And I said, well, not this year. Even though you lost, we know how to turn things around in Riverhead. So moving forward, we're going to keep this trophy, hopefully. And can I have a first and a second to close?
Do the thing about naming the
Oh, yes. We had a request, and actually, Bob, you were instrumental.
Well, no,
We-
yes, okay.
Let me introduce the topic.
Go ahead, go ahead.
And so a contest evolved recently concerning the new town hall. And our Councilman Kern had a really good idea. So I want him to go on and speak about this contest that we're going to have.
All right, so first off, the idea came to me through Eric Howard, our attorney, who this morning said, hey, how about this for a community reach out? So what we want to do is name the street, the portion of Second Street that New Town Hall sits on. We're going to do a contest, and we will provide an
Oh,
email address.
Did you get an email address? No. Yeah, well,
We'll get the
No.
email address. Oh, do you have it?
yeah, I think she got it. Okay,
Okay,
keep talking, she'll
okay.
give it to us.
So,
Can you do it real quick and we'll announce it at the end of the meeting?
yeah, so we're gonna
We
look
get
for,
things done here.
we're gonna put it out to the school, we're putting out to the entire community to name the street where the new town hall, is. So we'll give you that information, and it's gonna be a community outreach, and we look forward to the names that you submit, and so we have something to choose, you're gonna be able to name the name of the street for the new town hall.
Yep, so that should be
So
exciting.
Eric, that's a very good idea, and it's great.
Yep. And by the end of this meeting, we're gonna have an email address where you can submit, your request. So that should be a lot of fun. But now we need a committee
We do?
to pick the name.
Well, why don't we just have it submitted, and then maybe Riverhead Local will print them all, and then people can vote.
You wanna do that?
Oh, I'm gonna get all those names, no doubt. It's gonna be some fun ones. But I don't know.
Well, no, they have to send them to us and then we forward it, so that way we
Yeah,
have them
exactly.
also.
We'll look at it, we'll sift through them and take out the ones that maybe
Yeah, you know,
aren't
the
friendly.
curse words are not going in, that kind of stuff. If there is, I don't think so, but it's.
No, I think it'll be fun, and it gives the community a chance to weigh in. Right, Gwen?
Well, I think we should give the news review a chance for that also.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so we're gonna send it to both of them. How's that?
Sure.
Okay, great. Okay, can I have a first and a second to close the town board meeting and open the community development meeting, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Diane, can you please call the vote?
Sure. Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Nayrod.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
The town board meeting is closed and the CDA meeting is now open.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
We have a short agenda tonight. One resolution is needed to approve the meeting minutes of the July 18th, 2 p.m. meeting. I guess we can take comments on that resolution if there are any. Seeing no comments on the sole resolution of the evening, I would ask for a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of July 18th, 2023.
So moved.
Seconded?
Vote.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Okay, those minutes are approved, and then we would take open comments from the public on CDA matters only.
Good evening, John McAuliffe from Roanoke Landing, Rolling Woods. First, I want to congratulate you on the earlier notice of work sessions, and I would hope you would follow the same pattern on the agenda for the town board meetings. Have that out by the Friday before rather than the afternoon or morning before. I think that would be very helpful to people figuring out their schedules and what's relevant to them. We may hear more from you, I hope, about your current thinking about the problems of EPCAL, and particularly the issue of the runways and their utilization. And I was doing some digging, and I looked back at the letter that Mr. Curry sent on September 8th on behalf of both the town board and the Germasians. And in that, he says the report, he's talking about an economic development report. The report goes further to confirm the value of the runways at EPCAL and the unique advantage they provide to the site. An inactive control tower and aircraft service buildings already exist at the site. As stated previously, CAT will invest a minimum of $1 million to repair and upgrade the eastern runway so that it can accommodate cargo planes and other manned aircraft, as well as drones and other unmanned aircraft. I note that cargo planes is in this letter that effectively was going on behalf of the town board as well as the Germasians. They go further, a couple of paragraphs down. The analysis discusses several positive trends in the aeronautics field that will benefit EPCAL. First, the need for air freight is predicted to grow annually. I mean, it seems that we were all a bit nonplussed by their presentation, but at least if you had seen this letter that went on your behalf, you shouldn't have been completely surprised. I would actually turn to Mr. Hubbard for some history, if he wouldn't mind, since he is the one survivor from the early stage of this process. How did the runways get into the deal?
The runways were put into the deal on the behalf of the town. The town wanted to make sure that whoever bought the property, the runways were part of they're expensive to maintain, they're part of a selling point of a property, and I think that's why it was put into the contract itself. It was on our request, it wasn't on the request of...
On Illuminati's request?
No, it wasn't on theirs, it was on ours, because I think at the time the feeling was if the property sold, they didn't want the runways, we didn't want the runways to fall in disrepair.
Well-
We wanted to show that they also had the financial wherewithal to be able to put that money into the runways to make sure that they were still going to be upkept.
But Illuminati did not require that.
No,
That was your initiative.
That was strictly on our end, and I would venture to say it probably came from Supervisor Walter, but I'm
It
not
did.
exactly sure.
Did you actually vote for that, or did it just show up in the contract?
That showed up in the contract.
And you didn't vote for the contract,
I voted
much
the
to your
contract down.
much to your credibility. You
Correct.
did not vote for the contract. Well, I mean, it just is a little odd. As this report says, that increased dramatically the value of that land, like the 1,000 acres that they were gifted.
Another
And they
reason I
paid
voted it.
exactly the same $40 million. It was a total gift and I don't know what the relationship was between Mr. Walter and Mr. Preston, but it's the weirdest contract, as the supervisor has said. It's the weirdest contract, and I hope if you're, as was suggested about what was going on in the closed session of this closed part of the work session, if you're re-looking in some fashion at the contract, I hope that you get back to the control of the town, both runways and the 1,000 acres, and see if the Germaisians still want to buy the rest of it, and if they don't, gee, we're sorry, but that never should have been in the package, and I think it should be taken back. Thank you very much.
Good evening, Claudette Bianco, Bating Hollow. Having attended the recent IDA meeting and presentation by CAT 555's latest proposal for EPCAL, I am bewildered how the CDA can entertain doing business with this organization. According to several articles, one in particular from Bloomberg News and another from wealthmanagement.com, this company is mired in debt, owing millions of dollars on multiple projects, and has a questionable reputation at best. In addition, their business practices have been to take advantage of municipalities that would like to improve their towns and make proposals promising the world in an effort to gain the trust of the municipality and the public, then methodically and subtly changing the proposals ever so slightly and taking advantage by asking more and more from the said municipality. In addition, CAT 555 has a dismal record and has failed to implement several large-scale projects. I urge this board to cancel the contract, go back to the drawing board regarding EPCAL before our town is destroyed forever. Thank you.
Thank you.
One comment on Zoom coming in.
You're on, Kathy.
Hi, good evening, Kathy McGraw from Northville. I'd like, first of all, to follow up on a question raised by John to Mr. Hubbard. If you have any knowledge of this, but I'm really curious to know why, if the town included the runways in the contract, selling them to the buyer, losing control of those runways, why would you require them to spend $1 million to improve them?
Part of it was to show their financial background to see if they could. Part of it, I assume, was in case the deal fell through and the property came back to the town, that we wouldn't get it back in worse condition than it was when we sold it. That's how it was explained to me at the time.
And Ms. McGraw, you're asking a board that did not write the town contract at the time, nor support it, even Mr. Hubbard didn't vote for it. So you're asking us that why did we do this and why did we include this? We did not.
No.
We were not here and present for that contract, and none of us agreed and signed it or supported it.
Mr. Rothwell, I'm not asking you all to answer that. Mr. Hubbard was there and he knew the contract. He voted against it. He had reasons to vote against it. I think it's reasonable to ask him what he remembers about it, because it's just so odd that you would sell the runways, lose control of the runways, and yet require them to put $10 million, I can't remember, $1 million into repairs. But thank you, Mr. Hubbard. I do have another question about this week's work session. I did see that you had an executive session on matters surrounding possible change to agreement and application
CDA
status
matter.
between Riverhead and CAT. And obviously, the development of CAT is front and center for the minds of the people of Riverhead. And any changes that you'd be making would be of the utmost interest. I know it was an executive session, but if you could share with us what it was about, or whether we can expect to see some motion, some changes in the contract
I'll speak to it.
and the agreement with Cat? Is there anything that you can share
Kathy,
with us?
I called for that meeting, and initially I looked into the possibility of having a resolution, but it was determined that that would be me changing the contract, and I legally can't. So there's an alternative method, and I have said this publicly. I had said this publicly, that I was going to hold them to their word. Have you watched the last meeting? They indicated that they wanted, that they emphatically, numerous times indicated that there was going to be no cargo. That's a public meeting, it's available for anybody to see. And also they said that they welcome the fact that there is not going to be, and that they're willing to work with us. So, I don't want to discuss everything that was in executive session, but they have been notified to try to pursue this matter, and that's all we can say right now, and so we are pursuing that.
And I would, thank you for that. I would simply say that they may say they don't want cargo there, but they are also emphatic that they can use the runways for accessory use. And I don't see how you argue when you're building warehouses that filling them by cargo flights is not an accessory use of those runways. And I know what they're saying, but they are slippery, and I expect them to push this as far as they can.
Well, Kathy, we have our town attorney, and we have a legal outside counsel, and they're going to be working on that. So we
Okay.
really have to wait. I mean, this is a new development. The whole board supported this, for us to, to go into executive session and to go along that route. So we have to give it a couple of weeks to see, where they are.
You tell me if you can't tell me, obviously, but are you thinking along the lines, I know Mr. Kent was saying, we expect the town to have some covenants, some restrictions of some kind. Now, he didn't say they'd adopt them, he simply said he expected them coming their way.
Well-
Is that the kind of thing you're working on? And
Yes.
only if you can tell me.
Well, yeah, we're taking him on his word,
Okay.
That answers
Thank
your
you very
question.
much. Thank you.
okay? Okay, anyone else?
Okay, seeing no other comments on CDA matters, we would need a motion to close the CDA meeting and to open the town board meeting.
So moved.
Seconded?
Okay, so,
Kern,
oh,
Yes.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Bayrock,
Close it, yes.
Hubbard,
Yes.
Aguirre.
yes, close.
Okay, CDA meeting is closed. Have a great evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Dawn, have a great evening yourself. Okay, can I have a first and a second to approve the minutes for the regular town board meeting of July 18th and August 1st, as well as the special town board meeting of August 10th, 2023. I guess they all came in together, huh? Diane? So we have those 3 meetings, and I need the first and a second to,
So moved.
Seconded?
okay, take the vote?
Kern,
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
The minutes are approved.
Okay, that's it?
You want me to go into correspondence?
Yes, correspondence and figures, please.
Sure. Under correspondence, there was a letter from Duran Nakamura, and he was interested in no parking on Peninsula Path, and he did speak at our meeting 2 weeks ago. John McAuliffe had sent a correspondence regarding electric bicycles. That was also from 2 weeks ago. Walter Yakubowski sent a letter with regard to parking on Toomey Avenue. And Long Island Jobs with Justice sent a letter regarding asylum seekers. Under reports, Town Clerk, July monthly report, $5,290.93. The Building Department, July monthly report, $222,365.50. Tax Receiver, July Utility Collection Report, $376, $594.16. And the police department submitted their July monthly report, and that's it.
Okay, that's great. All right. Huh?
Can I make two announcements?
Yes, go ahead.
Well, first, I just want to kudos to our Veterans Memorial Park, the bike program, Pedal Share. We are once again the most popular pedal share program in Suffolk County, so we have the most rentals up there. So it's a program that's working really well, so everyone keep renting those bikes, stay healthy, and keep that exercise going. On the second announcement I just wanted to make is that regarding the Cannabis Committee. And so Cannabis Committee was, that's always stated that we would look to review and continuously update as we got information from the State Cannabis Board. And so we would like to reconvene just to have another work session with the Cannabis Committee. And I'm just going to bring that up, sorry, on my calendar. So we're looking to hold that after our town board meeting on September 6th. So there's a day town board meeting, which will start at 2, and presumably perhaps end by 6 p.m., where we can start our cannabis meeting. And so the members of the committee will receive a notice by email, but it's just something that we're always updating. We do have some information on the mapping system, and we did make some, we had some incorrect data as we entered it into our mapping system, so we wanted to share that and update it, and just keep everybody informed. So Cannabis Committee will be meeting here on September 6th. That is a Wednesday after the town board meeting at 6 o'clock. Thank you, Madam Supervisor.
Yep, and it's also going to be on Zoom.
Yes, thank you.
Rebecca, can I just make a quick?
Yes.
This past weekend, the Stop the Violence basketball tournament, I just want to give thanks to Bob Kern for assisting Dwayne Elizer and Ray Coyne, our recreation superintendent. They had a great turnout. There was some fantastic basketball up there. Mother Nature didn't completely cooperate, and it rained and postponed, and everybody got their blowers up there, and they blew the court off, and they were able to finish it up the next day on Sunday. It was very successful, and it's a great event every year, and thanks, Bob, for your work with that.
Yeah, can I just add one thing, and I want to give kudos to Jordan.
Yeah, he's great.
Jordan, who works for the Recreation Department, did an amazing job in finding a company to resurface the court. This was all done very quickly, and Jordan, again, phenomenal job. Thank you.
All right, and this just came in. I got you your email for the town hall contest to name the street in front of at town hall. It's called. Read it up.
It's called Town Hall Contest 1 at gmail.com. So that is Town Hall Contest 1 at gmail.com. And if you call now, we'll let you put in an extra name.
Is it one O-N-E or the number?
No, it's
The
a
number
good
one.
question. It's the number 1. Good, excellent.
He didn't want everybody typing in O-N-E at the end.
No, that's good. Good question.
All right, and we'll just put a little flyer or something on the town hall website.
Yeah, and we'll keep announcing it. I'm looking forward for the school, the people in the school too, to come up with something. I think it'll be great.
Great.
Frank, you're limited to 10 entries.
Yeah, Frank gets really crazy about this stuff. Last time there was about 150.
The creativity is brewing in my head.
All right, so that's all good stuff. Okay. And again, thank you, Diane. We're going to move on to public portion of this meeting. Today's hearing was scheduled for, first hearing was 6, oh, she already, did you did the reports, right? We did.
Yes.
You did the reports. That's what you got to check on. So the schedule for 6 o'clock, the time now is 6:43, and we're going to open up a public hearing for consideration of a proposed local law to amend Chapter 301, Part 4 of the Riverhead Town Code entitled Subdivision and Land Development, Article 57, Special Events. Our town attorney, Eric, is here, and can you give us an overview, Eric, please?
Yes, Madam Supervisor, thank you. This is a an amendment to the notice provisions for town board special permits. It essentially makes it consistent with our site plan application notices, requires the applicant to acquire a sign from the town clerk when they file their application. It has to be posted on the property, not more than 10 feet from the property line. And it has to be up 7 days prior to the public hearing or any adjourned date.
Yes.
And I believe that's about it.
That's pretty much it, Eric. I'll just clarify. So the current procedure now is when someone files a special permit application, they immediately get a sign that they have to post on the property with essentially no information on it for a public hearing. And that's got to be up for the lifetime of the application. Obviously not very helpful to the public or to the town. So this will, as Eric said, it'll bring it in line with site plan review. So once the town board schedules a public hearing, you will then go to the town clerk's office, get your sign, write your date and time on it, and then the hearing will get open, as Eric said, 7 days prior to the hearing for adjournment.
Is that usually for, is that also for variances?
No, this would just be related to special permits.
Just special permits?
Variances have their own procedure.
I know there's a procedure, I'm just
Yeah.
saying, it doesn't affect us, the
No, which,
procedures.
this will bring everything else, this section of the code in line with the site plans and variances. They're all a similar posting
Great.
requirement.
Thanks for cleaning this up.
Yeah, a
Yeah,
little bit
that's
of
A lot
cleanup,
of
yeah,
code
it's
that
it's good
needs some
stuff.
cleaning.
Yeah.
Good job.
Thank you.
Great, Matt. Thank you. Anyone from the public? No one online? Okay. The time now is, that was a pretty quick meeting. The time is 6:45. We're going to close this section of the public hearing, and we're going to leave it open for comment at the clerk's office until 4:30 p.m. on August 25th, 2023, and again at the town clerk's office.
Yep. And if the board's in favor, I can have a notice of adoption prepared for the first meeting of September.
Yes,
which
I
is,
agree.
September 6th.
Do you guys agree to go forward? Okay.
Yes.
Good, thank you.
Great, thank you. You said you had something to say? Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make one quick announcement. Anybody having yard sales, tag sales, I often see a lot of clothing. And I also see the clothing in the garbage on Mondays. Can you please take the clothing, get it to the Baptist Church on Northfield Turnpike, get it to the Salvation Army so they can help the people out, whether it's in Hawaii, that need the clothing, okay? So it'd be really great. Don't throw clothing out. There's a lot of people that can use it. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, we're gonna move on. For our last, actually, we only had 2 public hearings today, so our last one, the time now is 7:46. And we're gonna begin our public hearing, for the consideration of a proposed local law to amend chapter 231 of the Riverhead Town Code entitled Fire Prevention. Once again, our town attorney, Eric, is here to discuss the matter.
All right, thank you. This is an amendment to the administration section of Chapter 231, and it relates to the fees that the Fire Marshal's Office charges for various permits. This code change would simply remove those fees from the letter of the code, and they would be subsequently set forth in a schedule adopted by the town board.
Eric, do we have a copy of those fees? Because I never got to see them.
That hasn't been presented at a work session yet. So that, the intention was to have that schedule of fees, that proposed schedule of fees, discussed at a work session prior to making this adoption, but first holding the public hearing on it.
But the public will know the fees.
Correct.
Right, okay,
Yeah.
just wanna,
The schedule would be adopted simultaneously with this
okay.
code change.
all right. Anyone from the public? You don't have anyone? All right. Time is 7:40.
wanna say
This is very, wait, well, we're in the middle of a public hearing. Let me close it?
Yeah, go ahead.
And then we can go, okay, thank you. It's time now is 7:47, and we're gonna close this public hearing. We're gonna leave it open, for written comment till 4:30 PM on August 25th, 2023 at the town clerk's office. It's all yours.
No, I'm good. This was motion.
Oh. Okay. So this is gonna conclude our public hearing section of this meeting, and we are now gonna move for public comments, on the resolutions only before us today. After that, if you have any other comments, after the resolutions are adopted or whatever happens to them, then you can speak on any matter. So you wanna come forward? And we'd like you to let us know what resolution you're talking about so we can pull it.
I am talking about a couple of different resolutions.
Okay.
So,
So-
I have a couple comments regarding some resolutions, including one that is missing. Cindy Clifford, Riverhead.
Thank you.
After attending the July 27th work session, during which we requested the long-delayed appointments of 3 new members for the Riverhead Anti-Bias Task Force and the reappointments of existing members, we anticipated that by the following, or the second subsequent town board meeting, the resolutions would be presented. We think maybe, attention was diverted from the task force by other town committee resolutions going up tonight, reappointing members of the Beach Advisory Committee, which I don't recall seeing a posting for, establishing and appointing members of the Inclusion Task Force Advisory Committee. I also don't remember seeing a posting for those members. And tonight's most concerning resolution to appoint a new member after the departure of 2 to the Riverhead Recreation Committee. I don't believe that one was posted either. If the Anti-Bias Task Force was accidentally overlooked, I am here to request that the resolution, well past the bylaws requiring a January deadline, be presented at the next town board meeting. Given that you address so many resolutions at each meeting, it's understandable you might not thoroughly review the details of every one, but some deserve a closer look. The resolution 2023-216, appointing a new member to the Riverhead Recreation Committee, is one that does deserve closer scrutiny. Also, even with the vote still to come, her name is already listed among members of the Recreation Committee webpage. Before you make that appointment final, I would ask you to consider the following. This person already serves on the Business Advisory Board, and now you are considering a second committee appointment for someone who not only has a local reputation for working against the good of the entire town and our community, but has an active lawsuit against the school district, which in essence involves all the Riverhead taxpayers. Is this a person who you would want to vote to appoint as an overseer of park and recreation funds? Given that the Anti-Bias Task Force has been advised that all committee openings go to personnel, then are posted on Indeed.com, then interested parties submit application forms and resumes, this resolution states she is being appointed because she, and I quote, has expressed an interest in serving on the Riverhead Recreation Advisory Committee, end quote. I'm sure there are many residents who would express an interest in serving if they were aware of the 2 openings. And if that's all it takes to become a member of a town committee, then Pamela Grenke, Lisa Votino, and Megan Bamberger, who have not only expressed an interest in serving, but have submitted applications and resumes, attended every meeting and event since January, and will be presenting upcoming engaging public events, should be appointed to the Anti-Bias Task Force right now. So please consider who is worth appointing, and when Resolution 2023-216 comes up for the vote this evening, who you should carefully reconsider. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your comment. We'll look into that. I don't think we received anything, and we
I
just
think
had a...
216 is wrong. I'm trying to find
Yeah,
216.
the anti-bias-
613.
Oh, 613, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
So,
Yes, now
yeah,
I know exactly
So we're
what
gonna
you're
look at
talking
that, but
about.
Cindy, we do not bash people who want to volunteer, claim other stuff. I mean, we're gonna make... No, that's not acceptable in a town board meeting for a member of the community to bad mouth another member and they're not here. I just keep that...
Pointing out that.
Well, not facts, but you want somebody to come up here and point out facts on you and maybe they're negative.
I can take it.
Yeah, it's not the way that we do business, but, we're gonna take care of the anti-bias. I don't think we received any resumes, and we will,
In addition to what you've already had.
right, we're working on that, but that's still open. We checked today, and, if we didn't post it, maybe we should have, it's okay. It's not a big, it's not a,
It's posted, but we have 2 more openings after the 3 who have already.
okay, so we're gonna work, you have your liaison, so you could be working together with them on that. But please, don't come up here when somebody's up to be appointed and make all these allegations. Because actually, you could be sued. Well, if she loses the law, if she wins the lawsuit against the school district that you say she has, well, then you shouldn't have mentioned it, yeah, so.
I'm just
In
gonna.
any case, we're gonna move forward from that, but I would not accept that in my meetings.
I'm just gonna add something real quick. I happen to know that there's a lawsuit, and having a lawsuit without knowing the facts, and I happen to know the facts, and I'm not gonna bring them out, but disparage anybody's character, if you knew the facts, you might understand why there's a lawsuit, that's all I'm gonna tell you.
I do know the facts.
Okay.
Let's not get into somebody's
wanna get
lawsuit
into it
because
any
it's not appropriate, and
Yeah,
I'm not gonna
it's
accept
not.
that here. Just don't bash anybody who's coming up,
Yeah.
and I will not accept it if somebody did it to you.
I just want
We're
you
gonna
to
move forward.
consider.
I'm not considering
Thank you.
on a person attacking another person at a town board meeting, I'm not going to consider those words. I'm gonna make my own informed decision, so, thank you, Cynthia.
Based on who she is.
Okay, so I am going to, anybody else on the resolutions? Oh, sir,
Peter Scalzo with Racetrack Knott Street at EPCAL, and just here on item number 28, 2023-624, and we're looking forward to our third season, and just here to answer any questions anybody might have on our new short-term runway use agreement.
Who's gonna win?
Probably,
Chip, of
against
course,
Skip and
yeah.
you?
Only if I let you.
I'm gonna beat him.
Oh,
I might not be able to row, but I'll definitely drive. So I think that's fine. I think there was there was some talk, some back and forth today on some possible using some traction. I understand that the NHRA said that it's safety worthy. I am not gonna go against the NHRA and say, take that out, because if there's a accident, we are now in a lawsuit, because we were notified by the NHRA. So I think that was a contention, that was going back and forth in an email, to add that safety feature. You did provide a letter from the NHRA. I know Councilman Rothwell agreed that he had looked at it. We received an email late this afternoon saying that NHRA has to use only environmentally safe product. That was my understanding.
Correct.
So based on that, based on the letter from the NHRA making the safety recommendation, I am going to make sure that that gets taken out of the contract. The use agreement is up now for voting, so I'm going to request that it be amended. And I don't know how the other board members feel, but they can vote either to leave it in or take it out when it gets there.
well, that's the main point. I'm here if any other council members have any questions about what this is all about. I'm the National Hot Rod Association, as you know, the major sanctioning body of drag racing. It's used at every racetrack in the nation, and the NHRA does many of their own events that they promote, and two of them include in Pomona, California, and the PJ1 product, which is the product that I would like to use, is exactly what the NHRA uses out there.
Okay, so when the resolution comes up, we may ask for, I'll ask for an amendment, and the board will just go through it, and thank you for coming, and have a good evening.
Thanks for
Mr.
supplying the
Scalzo.
document. I did
Yes,
get
sir.
that.
I'm not against using a traction agent.
Yes.
What I just wanted to make sure, and I want it verified, that PJ1 is an environmentally friendly agent, because there are agents that are not environmentally friendly, and just saying that California uses it doesn't mean it's environmentally friendly, although we know they are very environmentally friendly as a state. I got a manufacturer's data list on it today, and I'm not a chemist, so I don't know what is, I'm looking for somebody just to tell me, somebody in authority, somebody that knows, is this product that's going to be used environmentally friendly? I agree it should be used. It makes the race much safer. You're more apt to have an accident not using it
Yes.
in a spin out on the takeoff. But I just want to make sure that the actual product being used, and you're saying PJ1, I
Correct.
just need to see from somebody in authority that knows whether that is or isn't environmentally safe.
Okay, I
That's my
did
only
provide
issue with
the
it.
SDS,
Yes,
the
I read
manufacturers, so, yes, I believe you can research that easy enough, and I just have to repeat, all 48 states, 50, all states use it I can't imagine they would use a product, be allowed to use a product that was not environmentally safe, but I hear what you're saying.
I can't imagine it either, but nothing
Yes, sir.
surprises me today, and that's a very environmentally sensitive piece of land, so I just want to make sure we're doing it proper.
Correct, and, okay.
Thank you.
John McAuliffe for Roanoke Landing. On the same resolution, I want to commend Mr. Scalzo for the way he is, and I said this at a previous board meeting, the way he has fulfilled his commitments to the town, and I think the board raising these questions are also very apropos, and I'm confident that he will respond to you. But as I said last time, there is this puzzling aspect of this, that one of the concerns about the races was the timing. And he was very cooperative in adjusting his schedule so that it didn't affect nesting of endangered species. And it's very hard to understand how that squares with use of the runways for whatever, whether it's air cargo or whatever ancillary uses they come up with. Are these things going to be stopped during the nesting season? That's a question there. The other point I wanted to make, since it came up, was, and it's been sort of nudging at me for a while, is about this appointment process. And I hope this board or the next board really makes a serious look at how people are given an opportunity to be considered, and then how they're considered for appointed boards. These boards are grossly unrepresentative of the population of the town, racially and ethnically. They're not representative in terms of gender either. And I think that needs to get looked at, and the public process needs to get looked at. As you may recall, I expressed an interest in being considered for the ethics board. And I was encouraged to submit an application, and I did that with my resume, and I'm sure it amused you no end. But then I got a letter from Mr. Howard saying, gee, we're really sorry, but this position is only for somebody who has been a town staff member or something. I don't remember what the precondition is. But you should have said that at the beginning. That should have been published as, we are looking for applicants only within this category. You wasted my time, you wasted the consideration, your time of considering the application. Excuse me?
The posting did say that.
Well, when we discussed it, it was, first of all, finding the postings. I'd have to go back and look for it, but the question is that in the discussion here, it was never mentioned, and I was encouraged by the supervisor to apply. So I just, things fall through the cracks, I understand that, but my point is that the whole process, the crucial part of the way the town functions are these appointed boards. And to make it accessible to the full population of the town may mean taking extra steps and posting things in a way that's different than the way you've been posting them, and making a conscious effort to see that the population, both racially, ethnically, and in terms of gender, is represented in these very important groups. So thank you very much.
Thank you for your comment, John. Anybody online?
Can I just comment in response to his concerns about the nesting season? When we originally had discussions and concerns about it, we understood that the drag racing would be extremely popular, and we were concerned about the volume of people that were going to possibly attend at one time, meaning opening day. And so there was concern, would people be parking at Veterans Memorial Park and working their way through the woods and across the grassy fields, disturbing the bird nesting? I think Mr. Scalzo has done a phenomenal job in terms of fencing things along the runways. I've attended events, our police department has attended the events, as long as the fire marshal, and to this date, so now going into his third season, we haven't had any crowd issues. No one crosses the fields. He protects, the grassy fields very well with fencing and so forth. So the bird nesting has become less of a concern because we don't see those people trying to park on Route 25 and work their way through the fields, and he's done a great job of mitigating that. So I just want to say kudos to you. You've done very well on that, and it hasn't been a problem.
Yep. been steady and strong, right? It's been a long road, and, yep, the entire board has been supportive, absolutely.
I get questions all the time from people in town is, what's gonna happen if it sells? You know, what are we
Yeah.
gonna do? And I'm like, if the new owner allows it, so be it. If they don't, it's out of our control, but it's been a huge success, and the people love it. I have to say that people absolutely love it. We
And
get
the-
compliments all the time.
And the economy, what it's done to our economy, especially in Calverton, it fills up all the restaurants, and especially your first week, all the hotels fill up here, so it's something that's really good and you did say you were gonna do that, and just to add, you did say that you were gonna become part of the community, and you are engaged with the community with the parade and all the events, and Live on 25, and you did say that you were gonna be, and I respect that, thank you for keeping your word, because that was,
There's Lions Club with it.
yep, Lions Club's also he's involved with, the Santa Parade, anything that people need, so, again, thank you.
I'll just say this, who's not cooperating with the DEC is the deer. So, just make a note of that when you talk to them.
Bob, are you the liaison to the deer committee?
But there's so much concern about the racing, meanwhile, there's hundreds of deer trampling all over the place and killing a lot of things and stopping a lot of things, but anyway.
Okay, thank you. I'm glad there isn't a resolution to that effect, so we're gonna move forward. No one else, so, I guess if hearing no one, we're gonna call the resolution. Diane, please.
Sure. Resolution 597.
.597, Water Capital Project Number 82310, 730 Sound Avenue Hydrant Closure. So moved.
Seconded.
Oh, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 598.
Water District Capital Project 82126, budget adjustment. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 599.
Appoint some maintenance mechanic 2. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 600.
Appoints a maintenance mechanic 2. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 601.
Appoint some maintenance mechanic 2.
Second.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 602.
Appoints a traffic control specialist. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 603.
Appoints a crossing guard. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 604.
Ratifies the appointment of a call-in recreation aide to the Recreation Department. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 605.
Change of title for an employee. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Abstain.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 606.
Amend salary increase for deputy town supervisor. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 607.
Amend salary increase for secretary. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 608.
Ratifies the promotion of a police officer to position of detective, grade 3. Congratulations. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes. Congratulations to Mike Guerrero. He does a great job over there.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 609.
Accepts the retirement of a laborer. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote.
Kern. Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yeah, good luck in his retirement, Mr. Clarkin. He worked up at the sanitation department for us up on Youngs Avenue for a long time, so thank you very much and enjoy your retirement.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 610.
Authorizes purchasing technician to attend virtual seminar. So moved.
Seconded.
Roll, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 611.
Authorizes supervisor to execute an MOA with CSEA Local 1000, AFS-CME, AFL-CIO, Riverhead Unit of the Suffolk Local 852. So moved.
Second.
Roll, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 612.
Authorizes the supervisor to execute a stipulation agreement with the Riverhead PBA. So moved.
Oh, that was easy.
Seconded?
Roll, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 613.
Appoints member to the Recreation Advisory Committee, Parsons.
Seconded.
Okay, before you ask you to vote again, I would ask the board to disregard any statements that were negative against this appointment. I personally know Ms. Parsons. I am happy to know that she is volunteering for the Recreation Advisory Committee, and she has worked with the town. She's very bright. I just, a couple of days ago, became aware that she was trying to be appointed to this committee for the last 4 months. So things got lost between coordinator and attorney, whatever it was. So the resolution is before us, and I would ask this board to disregard any negative statements that were made on her behalf, and to make their own consideration.
She's been attending the Recreation Advisory Committee meetings over the last few months, and she has provided us with a wealth of knowledge, so should be noted.
Okay, thank you. You can take a vote, please?
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Parsons, for volunteering.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 614.
Establishes the Town of Riverhead Beach Advisory Committee and reappoints initial members to the Town of Riverhead Beach Advisory Committee, nunc pro tunc. So moved.
Seconded.
Before I ask you to vote, I just want to make, and Tim, you could probably add to this with me. There's a big difference between a board, like the anti-bias board, and a committee.
Between an advisory committee and a board or task force or committee, yes.
Right, so that's why we try, as much as we can, whenever you have a board, to put that out. You don't necessarily have to have it as a committee, and I know today it was brought up as, well, if you did it for that, you didn't do it for that. In any case, that's clarified, and I guess you can finish up and take the vote.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 615.
Establishes the Town of Riverhead Inclusion Task Force Advisory Committee in place and instead of the Committee for the Disabled, and appoints initial members to the Town of Riverhead Inclusion Task Force Advisory Committee, nunc pro tunc. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 616.
Authorization to publish advertisement regarding a request for proposals for the planning, design, and engineering of the proposed Town Square Riverfront Amphitheater. So moved.
Seconded?
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 617.
Authorization to publish advertisement regarding a request for proposals for the planning, design, and engineering of the proposed Town Square adaptive playground. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 618.
Rejects the bids for Ford Auto Parts and authorizes the town clerk to publish and post notice to bidders for rebid for Ford Auto Parts. So moved.
Seconded.
I have a question. Why were we rejecting this bid? what happened? I'm sorry? I just want to know why it's being rejected. Okay,
The costs, the proposed costs came in too high, so
Got it.
Teresa felt like if we reposted it, we could perhaps attract better bids.
okay. Okay, good. Vote.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 619.
Awards bid for large meter replacements for the Riverhead Water District. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 620.
No.
Awards bid for truck parts. So moved. Thank you.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 621.
Awards bid for auto parts, so moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 622.
Approves fireworks application for Baiting Hollow Club. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 623.
Approved special event, Chapter 255 application for Jamesport Fire Department Sound to Bay 5K, 10K race. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 624.
That's going to be Kern.
Authorizes the supervisor to execute short-term runway agreement for a racetrack, not street track, Summer Series 2023. So moved.
Seconded.
Okay, before we take a vote on this resolution, I just want to make a statement. I know that they supplied to us the MSDS sheets, which stands for Material Safety Data Sheets. Those are written indicators for anyone to be able to read, and it specifies the toxicity, how toxic the product is, it breaks it down, the impact to human life. I have worked with these MSDS data sheets when we secure locations, and I did read it, and as far as I can see, it is acceptable. If I was doing a security survey, I would obviously use that sheet to determine if it belongs at the location, it doesn't. I'm not an expert on them, but the material that's discussed is pretty, it's readable for a layperson. So I just want to make that statement. It seems satisfactory to us, and so take the vote.
Well, that's a direct shot, Supervisor. Apparently
No,
you're
it wasn't.
implying I'm not able to read and determine what
No.
a manufactured data sheet said. That's
No.
exactly what you just did, and I take that to heart.
I didn't mean
And
it.
I beg you to read that and explain that to the people in this audience right now, and explain those chemicals that are on that, and you tell me what they do or don't do to the environment.
Okay. Okay, I'm sorry that it was taken that way. I just wanted to share
It
that.
was meant that way, Supervisor,
Okay,
and you
no,
said it
it really
that
wasn't,
way.
and if it was, I apologize. How's that, okay? It's not something that, this is a fun event, and it's to not be, there shouldn't be any animosity between anyone. And so I made the statement, I had looked at them, and so take the vote.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
So we're voting to execute a short-term runway agreement. I vote yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
I vote yes with the compound.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 625.
Hang on, the compound's not part of the resolution.
But the use agreement,
This is what I recommend.
go ahead, the use agreement, it's in there.
The current posted use agreement includes a provision that says he's not going to use any compound, traction agents, whatever, on the surface of the runway.
Right.
If we want to change that, we can amend that provision in an addendum, right? And it'll set forth, what I'd like to do is set forth certain conditions and terms that require him to clean up any excess and have
Right.
monitoring and mechanisms that prevent spillover onto, off of the runway, right?
Right.
Okay, so that's just sort of technical language that I'd want to put into the agreement in place of the provision that says that he's not going to use any of it.
Okay, so I support that.
Okay, so what we should do now is adopt what we have here, and then I will draft an addendum to circulate to the board.
But the board has to know that agreement is gonna be changed.
No, we understand
So,
that.
know that?
No, I know, but do you agree when you said yes, that the addendum is gonna be
Well,
put
right
in?
now, we're voting yes on the
Right now, we're
existing
voting on the
contract
use of
as the
the
way
runway
this is
with
written.
If we're in favor of allowing him to use this, right now, the agreement that you're approving has that provision in it that says he's not going to use it.
Correct.
All right, so we can approve this, and then I can draft an addendum that sets forth, the conditions for use, essentially.
Okay,
I think we're all in support, provided that materials, that evidence shows that it is, no harm to the environment, environmentally sound and safe. I think that's what we're just looking for.
I haven't seen
Right,
that
and I
evidence
think,
yet, that's my only point.
we also would have an interest in just making sure that whatever is being applied to the surface of our runway gets
Right.
cleaned up or remediated in any way necessary after use.
so Saturday is their first event. Is that gonna be possible to get this accomplished?
Yes,
An
yes.
email for ratification?
Yeah, I guess you could send it to the whole board tomorrow, because I think the event, and he's gotta come in and sign it. Yeah,
Right.
okay, great,
I should have my answer that I need to know by
Okay.
tomorrow also.
okay, good. Okay, so we agree.
So that's been adopted. So, Resolution 625.
Authorize the supervisor to execute agreement with Riverhead Youth Sports Incorporated for the referee and umpire services for the Town of Riverhead Police Athletic League football program for 2023 calendar year. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 626.
Adopts a local law to establish Chapter 117 of the Riverhead Town Code entitled Mandatory Surcharges and the Appropriation of Fees. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 627.
Adopts a local law amending Chapter 289-10 of the Riverhead Town Code entitled Parking Prohibited, Toomey Avenue. So moved.
Second?
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 628.
These things are long.
Is it?
Adopts a local law amending Chapter 289-10 of the Riverhead Town Code entitled Parking Prohibited Peninsula Path. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 629.
Authorizes Town of Riverhead Water District, RWD, to transfer property described as Suffolk County Tax Map Number 0600-108-2-2 to the Town of Riverhead, TOR, and authorize the Town of Riverhead to transfer a portion of property owned by the TOR described as Suffolk County Tax Map Number 600-76-1-13, subject to permissive referendum pursuant to Town Law, Chapter 64, Sub 2, and Town Law, Chapter 2008, A and B. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes, thank you very much to Highway Superintendent Mike Zaleski for his cooperation on getting this done.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Vote. Yep. Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 630.
Amends Resolution 2022-687, adopted on September 20th, 2022, as and for the Town of Riverhead, requests to County of Suffolk for approval and sale of certain real property owned by the County of Suffolk described as Suffolk County Tax Map numbers of District 600, Section 128, Block 5, Lots 1 and 2, located at Griffin Avenue, Town of Riverhead, Suffolk County, New York, pursuant to 72H of the General Municipal Law. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 631.
Ratifies authorization to destroy and discard obsolete surplus cubicles. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes, I just want to just quickly add, if any organization needs cubicles, need desks for their organization, please just contact me. We have some available for you, so we don't put them in a dumpster. Thank you.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 632.
Ratifies the approval of the fireworks application for Giorgio's Restaurant at Bading Hollow Country Club. So moved.
Seconded?
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted, and we'll skip Resolution 633 because we did that already.
Yes.
And then we'll move on to Resolution 634.
Pays the bills. So moved.
Seconded.
He always has to get it. Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
And I think,
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Bayrock. Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguiar.
yes, and I think we have two coming off the floor.
Okay, Resolution 634 is adopted.
Okay. And who's going to pull it off the floor?
Which one?
But you're going to do the 255?
Yeah, I can.
That's your resolution?
Yes. So I would like to pull off the floor, authorize the town clerk to publish and post public notice to consider a local law to amend chapter 255 on the Riverhead Town Code entitled Parades, Assemblies, and Special Events.
Okay, so we're going to take a vote to take it off the floor, and then we're going to take a vote on the actual resolution. Can you call the vote?
Okay, so that's Resolution 635.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, now you can, thank you.
Kern.
You wanna call
Yes.
this one?
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution 635 is taken off the floor.
Okay, now that it's taken off the floor, we're going to have to need a vote on the resolution.
We need to read the resolution again? Okay. Authorize town clerk to publish and post public notice to consider a local law to amend chapter 255 of the Riverhead Town Code entitled Parades, Assemblies, and Special Events. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution 635 is adopted. Resolution 636. This is off the floor.
Another one off.
Bring this off the floor. Police disciplinary charges. So moved.
Second.
Okay, vote to take it off the floor, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution 636 is taken off the floor.
Now we need to vote on the resolution, Diane.
Okay, Resolution 636.
Police disciplinary charges. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution 636 is adopted.
Okay. Thank you, Diane, and this is going to conclude our resolutions for today. And at this point, we will open the meeting to public comments on any other matter. Anyone from the public want to come forward? You can come forward. Yes. How are you?
Good evening. Hi, my name is Monsignor John Cervini. I am a Catholic priest, 55 years, retired, and my background, just to give you an idea, my background is I received a doctorate in ministry from Princeton Theological Seminary in New Jersey. I was the former director of pastoral formation for the Seminary of Immaculate Conception in Huntington, training both the men pastorally in the Diocese of Brooklyn, along with Rockville Center's priests in the future. I finished that particular position and volunteered to be the pastor for 15 years of Our Lady of Miraculous Medal Church on Straight Path in Wyandanch, Long Island. And then I volunteered to go to a diocesan mission in the Dominican Republic, and I was there for 17 years on the border of Haiti, working with, in my time there, we worked with over 23 U.S. Peace Corps volunteers doing human development, health, agriculture, and education on the border. And we would probably built over, in my years, 23 aqueducts in the name of U.S. Peace Corps volunteers, kids that may have been your family members, very, very generous kids, giving 2 years on the border, which was phenomenal. I retired from there and came home, and I selected Our Lady of St. John the Evangelist here in Riverhead to go to help on Sundays at Masses and on Tuesdays because of two people that really impressed me in terms of my religious life. Sister Margaret Smythe, whom many of you probably know for many, many years, 25 years here working in Riverhead, and Bishop Emil Seller, who was one of my professors at the seminary teaching me about Scripture and how you interpret Scripture and how you live it. So when I came, I worked with the Spanish Masses here on the fourth Sunday of the month at St. John's, and I have to say, Margaret and I would go out and have dinner after the experiences. I was sitting in her office the week before she died, and there was a young man sitting there, and I turned to him and I said, "Where are you from?" And he said, "Oh, I'm from Honduras." I said, "Really? How did you get here?" And he said, "My shoes. That's how I got here." He said, "They macheted my brother because he wouldn't join the gang, and they were coming after me, and I had to get out. So that's why I'm here." And then, of course, Margaret helped him find a place to stay and basically got him started. But after each of the Masses, Margaret and I would go out for a late supper. And wherever we went in the different restaurants, I have to tell you, it was so impressive. Either they were dishwashers, some of them were managers, some of them were hostesses, and some of them were just ordinary workers coming up to Margaret and thanking her for the years of getting them started here in Riverhead, working in probably the restaurants that you attend to in this particular community. It was really very impressive. The lady was phenomenal. And as you know, she had over 800 at the wake the night before her funeral in the parish. 800 Hispanics came to give her honor for 2.5 hours. It was quite impressive. And I just would say that the reason I'm here is I understand your position is not at all to welcome people from New York for the asylum seekers in the city out here. And I would just ask you to really realize that if you do welcome them, those are the very people that are going to keep sustaining all of the businesses and the farms and the people like the people that come up to Margaret and I every night. We would go for a supper. The culture that we are in needs to be reversed, and it's town halls like you that have the power to change the culture and make it a welcoming culture and not a culture of fear, especially of these people that are coming, the new immigrants. Bishop Seller, who lived here for 30 years, and you may have remembered him running, he was a big runner. He ran all over Riverhead in the years. But he taught me in Scripture, if you're going to read the Scriptures, you have to do two things. You have to realize it is the past, but the values of the past become values of the present. And I would just suggest this to you. The Christmas story is a perfect example. Every year you use it, and you'll use it all the Christmases that you have ahead of you in the future. You don't want to be associated in the Christmas story with the innkeeper who boxed out the Holy Family and forced them to have the child in the stable. You cannot read that. And when you, in the future, make your vote, Margaret and Bishop Seller are going to be whispering in your ear to be able to go for the good of the people, not, you might say, just the pressure from the public that may be against it. And Bishop Sella had a great lesson for me, teaching me this. What is justice? Justice is making love publicly. Justice is what love looks like publicly. And you know, that young man that sat in Margaret's office who was terrified because of the machetes, that young man was horrified. And in that Christmas story, the Holy Family heard that Herod was coming after them to machete the babies, and they had to become refugees overseas in Egypt. Then they came back to the Holy Land. Justice is what love looks like in public, and that's one of the decisions that you have to make. You have to make love public. And if enough counties could do that, let me tell you, it is possible to change and make the world a better place. Margaret taught me and lived what I consider to be the best definition I have ever heard of compassion. Compassion is entering into the chaos of another person's life. You folks have the power to be compassionate as a community, to enter the chaos of their lives and produce people that were coming up to Margaret and I every night saying to Margaret, Margaret, thank you so much for getting my life so stabilized and so welcome in this beautiful town of Riverhead. We can't thank you enough. So in the name of Bishop Sella, in the name of Margaret, I just present to you and ask them to whisper in your ears. The culture can be reversed of being afraid of people. I lived on the border of Haiti with Dominican people who were meeting Haitians every day. And most Americans would be frightened to death. But let me tell you, representing the United States, our Peace Corps kids created such a bond with these beautiful people that you would be able to create here if you are able to realize that in keeping them away, you're letting fear over love. And all I'm saying, let love be your guide. So I'll just stop at that point. Frank, that's all I can say.
Thank you, Monsignor.
Thank you for your comment.
Very well said, and I have to say, both of those people were magnificent to this community. Monsignor, I'm sorry, Bishop Sella was an absolute favorite of mine, and maybe one of the most intelligent, learned people I've ever encountered personally. Yeah. And Sister Margaret was wonderful as well, but thank you for those comments, I appreciate that.
Well, thank you, Frank, for listening. Yeah. Any other comments that you want to say? Yes, I do. The other thing I would just say is, we have a letter here. We have 154 names of religious on Long Island that would like you to know that they are really asking you to think about a change of heart.
Okay, you can give them to the clerk and we'll file them.
Okay. This would be Bishop Sella's scripture class.
This is throughout Long Island? Okay. Next. Okay, next. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Sandra Dunn. I'm Associate Director of OLA of Eastern Long Island. OLA is O-L-A. It stands for Organización Latinoamericana, or in English, Latino American Organization. And I am here happy to echo everything that the priest has just said, and also to say that we at OLA and many other organizations on Long Island, not just here on the East End, are very concerned about the executive order that you issued and the declaration of emergency that you issued on May 16th, and that you have repeatedly renewed most recently yesterday, although we do note that the slight change in language there. We believe, and so do members of the coalition, that these kinds of orders serve to divide a community rather than unite a community, and they also do great harm potentially to community members, not just to the notion of community, but to actual individual community members who will not feel welcome in a community. So by being what I'm sure you think of as preemptive or proactive, and creating a declaration of a state of emergency and issuing these executive orders, the effects that that has on community members is really detrimental. And it can increase instances of violence, of hate crime, when a certain group is categorized as other and as not welcome here. And I will also just say that there is no emergency. You issued these orders based on a rumor, it seems, on something that you heard, and busloads of people have not come to Riverhead or anywhere else on the East End. So we just urge you to stop the renewal of these orders, of this order that you're doing every 5 days, and ask you to do as the Father has suggested, to have a change of heart. We've also at OLA, we sent a letter immediately after your first executive order of May 16th. We sent a letter to the town board, or to you, Supervisor Aguilar. I don't recall if we sent it to all town board members, to you and to the town attorney, I believe, an 8-page document that our general counsel and senior policy counsel at OLA carefully researched to point out what is potentially illegal and unconstitutional about these executive orders, because they target a certain group of people. We did not receive a response to that document that we sent you, and we also, a couple of weeks ago, last week in July, on behalf of other coalition members, requested a meeting with you, and we have not received a response to that. So I'm here in person to ask you to please agree to meet with at least members of OLA, since we are the East End-based organization, and to sit down and have a dialogue with us about these executive orders, which we find so detrimental, and which will also affect the way, and have already affected, the way that nonprofits do their work and the way we try to take care of people, especially nonprofits that are focused on homelessness. So thank you for your time today.
Okay, thank you for your comments.
Hi, my name is Kimberly Wilder, and I'm a Riverhead resident. I often come as I'm a poet, and I often come as the extra voice to notice people who have the wonderful expertise and wisdom and really do things in the field. So I was drawn here today to support the letter being supported and what the priest was saying about please welcome asylum seekers. I'm very upset about the emergency orders for the asylum seekers. And I just wanted to say, too, to the people in our community that Riverhead is actually becoming known as a horrible place where we have laws against asylum seekers and homeless people. I mean, if you would go out in the world now, it's kind of a joke to people in other states and other places. When I say where I come from, I'm like, you know that place where they're making the executive orders and there's the supervisor and she's doing things to homeless people and asylum seekers? That's where I live. And I feel like I have to struggle and represent the people that are underdogs. I want to thank very much the words that I heard, justice is what love looks like in public. And I'd really ask for people to think about that, and for the politicians. I love that. It really makes me understand what I've always felt, and that is that justice is what love looks like in public. I want to support the premise that you would return a letter to OLA and answer them, and that you would meet with OLA because they do such good work in our school and our community on the East End, and they really deserve to be answered, and to have a meeting with the supervisor who's making the emergency orders, and having a meeting with the people there. On another note, because now that I came here for that reason, and I support so much the people from other countries who come to look to our country to be helped, I also wanted to say other things, because you always hear at the meeting, there's so much that goes on, and you can't always watch it as someone who is a regular person. And I wanted to say that I find the way that appointments are done very problematic too. And something to think about, I wish more people could pay attention. It's funny, when Supervisor Walters was there, years ago, I remember being at Diggers at a meeting of the Riverhead Neighborhood Preservation Coalition, and they were complaining about the same thing, about the arbitrary and capriciousness of how the board appoints people and puts people on committees and task force. And, you know, that's just a very, that's a way to just ruin democracy and to not let there be grassroots participation. So I'm asking the board to make sure that they do things like someone else had said, let people be represented, people of different genders, people of different races or ethnicities, but to do it fairly, to make it really a process and not just the people that were the first people that ask. And I want to say that I know a lot of the people that need to be appointed to the Anti-Bias Task Force. That's so important. That organization has to go on in a positive, forward, progressive, social justice manner. And I just have to say, because I admire her work and love her, let Lisa Votina on the Anti-Bias Task Force, because I really know her and love her. And I know she is a little bit younger than me and represents a lot of good things. And I just feel that there might be some energy, particularly for her, but that's because I love her. But please, let people be on the Anti-Bias Task Force. We have to get people everything has to work here more to social justice and less to me being embarrassed to all good people and all people with good hearts and compassion and progressive or leftist values that I come from Riverhead, where we hate asylum seekers and homeless people. Unhoused people.
Okay, so I'd like to just make a quick statement. I know the speaker earlier, Kimberly Wilder, had stated that I made my decision on rumors. That's not true. And so I'm going to move on. There was some accusations made from Ola. Unfortunately, the matter now is being dealt legally. And I do support legal immigration, and I also support taking care of our community. First, nobody's singling just in particular one group of people. It just happens to be that there was an immediate threat, but any other threat, and we just want our code to be respected, the town to be aware, and anything that happens, not to just throw people here in our town and not being able to account for them. And I support my stance, and I will continue to renew the orders as needed, and fortunately that's where I stand. And but I respect your opinion. Anyone else?
Good evening, Michelle Lynch, Riverhead resident.
Hi.
I want to comment on what everybody's been speaking about. I mean, I don't know if those of you recall, we had a county executive a number of years ago that was constantly making laws, and it impacted Latino people. As a result, Marcelo Lucero was murdered. Words do matter, and policy that's made does matter. And even though you're saying you don't want to make it in a certain group of people, that's the reality of it, that people take it and they run with it, and they do harm to other individuals because they perceive whether or not they are citizens. They assume they're not, and therefore they think they have the right to treat them a certain way. But I do agree, Sister Margaret, as we all know, was a wonderful woman, and I think would be very disappointed by the executive orders that have been made by the town. And as a resident of Riverhead, we should be more welcoming of people. And I would hope that you would set up a meeting with Ola. They're a really great organization, and I think it doesn't do any harm to anybody to get an education and to understand and to talk to different organizations that, do the work like Ola does. It wouldn't hurt any of you to sit down and talk to them and just find out what's going on. And I'm sure, our farmers, they depend on people that may or may not be documented. The same way with restaurants, also rely on help that they can get. So I really would ask you as town board members to meet individually or however you do it and sit and talk with Ola. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Once again, John McAuliffe from Roanoke Landing. I'm sorry to bother you for a third time, but obviously what's just been said by the last 3 or 4 speakers is the same thing that I said the first time that you issued this declaration. It is incomprehensible why it is reissued now that that the most objectionable words have been taken out. I'm not sure what the reason is that you continue to do this, but that's for you to decide. What I wanted to say is quickly some loose ends. Well, in terms of naming the street, it might be worth considering that we live in Riverhead. History can't be reversed, but the land on which we live was once another populations, indigenous populations, and many towns around the country, many cities have made efforts to use naming as a way of recognizing the indigenous population and the indigenous history, and I think that might be worth considering in your evaluating names. Just to follow up a little bit from what we were talking about earlier, I am frankly was disappointed in your dialogue with Kathy McGraw that, and maybe you feel you can't explain the basis of the town's attorneys rejecting your initiative, but I would at least ask you to wonder whether you still have the appropriate attorney representing you on this. Remember the bromance that literally took place between Chris Kent and the attorney. How it was an unusual, warm expression of between two attorneys that are supposed to have different interests that they're representing, and I suspect that you might go further for other legal opinion about whether you could take further steps. Some of you were at, I know Bob was at the IDA meeting. Others of you may have watched the video, particularly the moment when the treasurer of the IDA asked some very serious questions. I think were very revealing, and you should look at that part of the tape if you haven't. Lee says, well, I see that you are putting these big warehouses right next to the runway, 400,000 square feet. What is the reason for that? Why are you putting those buildings there rather than the flex buildings? And Chris Kent's response was, well, if you were in one of those flex buildings, you wouldn't want to have an office next to an active runway. At which point, of course, the whole audience started laughing because Chris had given away the whole story in that one answer. And I think there has to be concern whether we are getting a straight story, and ultimately it's going to come back to you. Finally, I know we have annoyed you over the last 5 years about this issue. You're certainly more generous in time than the IDA was. 5 minutes give people a chance to make a coherent statement. 2 minutes did not. But we want to turn it around. On Thursday night at Vale Levitt, beginning at 6:30, we're going to have EPCAL Watch has been invited by the Heart of Riverhead to make a presentation about our concerns about where things are now in EPCAL and what ought to be done about it. If any of you are available, you're most welcome to join us and hear us talk, and then ask whatever your questions are about what we've said, and obviously to the audience here and people watching this on video, we hope to make this a very productive discussion of what is actually going on, which I think is not so simple to understand. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Monica Zasada and I live in Sag Harbor. As an immigrant who came to this country with $10 in her pocket, I do support immigration matters. So I found in my experience, and I've been here for 31 years, that a lot of officials are sort of, I would say, hiding behind law. And just because the law is a certain way doesn't necessarily make it so. So I feel that the least you could do is do meet with Ola, because I feel that they do have solutions. I know it's not easy to welcome an unidentified number of people and be fearful that they might overuse the resources or be a threat. But I think that the least you could do is meet with Ola. So could we have your promise that you would do so, rather than just saying that you uphold the law, which we all are in favor of. We are not proposing anything illegal or criminal. Could you promise to meet with Ola?
The matter is under litigation now. The initial letter that Ola sent was from their attorneys, and they were making some allegations. They brought that on themselves, unfortunately, and the matter is under, it's being addressed by an outside attorney, and it would not be fruitful for me to meet on people who make allegations against me, and that there's a civil litigation on this issue against the town. So it's not prudent. And Eric, did you want to add to that?
That pretty much sums up what I was going to say. There's a pending civil case filed by the city against us concerning this order. I would recommend that any of the town board members meet on this particular issue at this point.
Well, again, in my experience, the legalese takes years, whereas just, willing members of community meeting together can accomplish quite a lot. And there can be forgiveness and understanding. So that would be really fantastic if, you can let the legal matters can go on their own, way. And I think, again, just people getting together and talking can accomplish a lot of things. So thank you so much.
I just want to add one more thing. I know that they were making a statement, and somebody said that there's it creates a certain fear, and maybe we should be cultured in certain populations. I am Hispanic, and I know what it is, and I've worked with immigrants. I'm fully aware of the concepts and the challenges, and I'm going to leave it at that. Anyone else? Do we have anyone? We don't have anyone online. Oh. That's it? Usually just somebody that waits to the very end, right, and calls. That's about it. Okay, so thank you, everyone. This is going to conclude our meeting for today. And can I have a first and a second to close this town board meeting?
So moved. Second.
Okay, thank you. Can I have all in favor? All opposed? So move. Everyone, be safe and have a good evening.
Right.